Should people avoid doing deadlifts after age 50? A lot of people over 50 have been told they should never deadlift because it's dangerous, it'll hurt your back. It's an exercise for younger people. And I get it. I mean, even in Reddit groups, anytime someone asks, what exercises should I avoid after 50? You know what the top two answers are? Deadlifts and bar squats. But here's what most people don't realize is that deadlifts, when done correctly and for the right reason, can be one of the best exercises for aging strong. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through whether deadlifts are safe after 50, how to start if you've been afraid to, mistakes to avoid, and the best alternatives if deadlifts truly aren't for you. On top of that, I have had 2 knee replacement surgeries. I mean, if anyone had a reason to avoid deadlifts, it would have been me, right? But here's what surprised me. Once I learned proper technique, the deadlift became one of the movements that made me feel the strongest and the most capable, not just in the gym, but in everyday life. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people over 50 understand this movement, not fear it, not rush it, and to respect it and then master it. Now, of course, I am not your personal trainer. Everyone is different. So check with your own trainers, physical therapists, get assessed, maybe a healthcare professional. All of my people gave me a green light in various shades of green. Honestly, I think my knee surgeon, oddly, was the most excited that I wanted to deadlift because he replaces knees and shoulders of professional athletes. I'm talking NFL, NBA, you get the idea. So he knew I had good form, I had a good trainer, and that I would skyrocket my recovery to 100% functionality. And it has. But right now, I am going to walk you through exactly what I tell my over 50 clients when they're learning to deadlift safely. Deadlifts can get a bad reputation. People mistakenly think of them as back exercises. But what they actually are training are hips, glutes, hamstrings, core, grip, posture, and functional strength. And these kinds of movements are the very things that help you pick up heavy groceries, lift the grandkids, carry the luggage, move furniture, get up from low chairs, prevent falls, and protect your spine. I could go on. Deadlifts aren't just about looking strong, they're about staying independent. So instead of asking, should I avoid deadlifts after 50? The real question is, which variation matches my body today? Here are 3 things I look for in every client before they deadlift. Mobility. Can you hinge at the hips without rounding your spine? Second one, stability. Can you brace your core and keep control? And the third one is strength base. Can you lift any reasonable weight, even light dumbbells, with a clean form? If these 3 check out, deadlifting, especially with the variations to start with, can absolutely be a part of your training. If they don't check out, then we build those 3 modalities first. Full stop. What I tell clients, especially when they're brand new, is number 1, start light. 10 pounds, a kettlebell, or a pair of dumbbells. If you wouldn't sprint on day 1 of jogging, then you don't go heavy on day 1 of deadlifting. I mean, that's just logical, right? The second thing is form. Think of these cues. Chest up, shoulders back, push your hips out behind you, neutral spine, and drive through your heels. Push the floor away from you. If your lower back feels uncomfortable, you know, that difference between the pain of effort and the pain of injury, if it's kind of more on the end of not feeling like it's a good idea, then we stop. We reset and we revisit all of those modalities. Build consistency before load. That's the third important point for you to remember. I mean, 1 or 2 sessions a week is perfect. Start with once a week or for 2 to 3 weeks, and then add a second day when the movement feels natural. Of course, at this point, when you're starting out, it's with light weights if you're new, and just get the form right. And then the fourth thing is progress slowly. Add weight in small steps. 5 pounds at a time is a perfect pace. And then you can just keep adding gradually. And the fifth one, of course, always listen to your body, not your ego. Your goal is longevity, not bragging rights. Now, there are some situations where I tell people to skip deadlifts completely. So listen up if you're kind of in that area where you're thinking, I don't know. Active lower back pain, no. That has to be fixed first. Find out the reason, find out where it's coming from, and get it addressed. Sciatica flare-ups, not a good sign. I send my clients to an excellent doctor of physical therapy, and he assesses them and puts a stretch and strengthening protocol in place that they can do at home and then continue with me until the sciatica miraculously disappears. Unmanaged spinal osteoporosis. That's always a danger sign. And there are so many ways you can get strong without deadlifts rather than compromise that situation. Another one is severe mobility limitations or poor posture control or even fear that makes you feel tense or rushed. There's ways to approach this without just diving straight in or it just feels completely unsafe. And that's okay. Deadlifts are not mandatory. They are just so amazingly effective that if you feel afraid, I want you to at least listen to this and think about it and see if there's something you can do. If deadlifts aren't in the cards for you right now, your goal then is to train the movement pattern, not the exercise, so that you can begin to get stronger even with body weight. So what I'm going to do now is give you deadlift variations that I use with almost my 50 and over clients, assuming none of the limiting factors I mentioned apply. These go in progression, so you can listen and then try them wherever you think you are on that spectrum. The first easiest entry point to deadlifts is with a kettlebell or a set of dumbbells. These are hands down the easiest, most beginner-friendly ways to learn the hip hinge. Very important part of that modality because the weight stays close to the center of gravity. They are simple to control. They are easier on your back. They are perfect for building confidence before progressing to heavier variations. The second one is the trap bar, or it's also called the hex bar. It's literally shaped like a hexagon and you stand in the middle of it. One of my absolute favorites, especially for people over 50, and especially if you train alone without a spotter. So the position of this bar when you're holding it is really perfect because your weight is right underneath the shoulders. It's not forward a little bit. So it's much easier to execute and control. You stand inside the frame, the handles are right at your sides, and it naturally puts you in a more upright position. That means less strain on your back, better balance, and a huge boost in confidence. If you're someone who notices that deadlifts or the idea of it make you nervous, the hex bar is one of the best places to start because you are in the perfect position to execute it correctly, even without a spotter. So if you stay light at first, get the movement down, get the hinging down, it builds your intuition about how it's supposed to feel so that when you work with some of the other methods and tools, you can tell it's right. And you don't need a spotter to feel secure. The third one is a rack pull, or it's also called an elevated barbell deadlift. If you can't safely pull up from the floor, or you struggle with mobility, this variation can be a game changer. This is because the bar starts higher up. It shortens the range of motion. It makes it easier to keep a neutral spine, and it reduces the risk of rounding your lower back. That would be a big no-no. Rack pulls also strengthen the top part of the lift, hips, glutes, and that strong lockout position at the end of each rep. The fourth variation of the deadlift is called the Romanian deadlift, or RDL for short. I use RDLs constantly. I do them. They're one of my favorite leg exercises because they feel so good with that hamstring stretch. They're so effective and joint friendly for my clients who are over 50. And most of them, even if they can't do a regular floor deadlift, this one works beautifully. So that's why I want to include it in this video. Unlike a traditional deadlift, you're not pulling from the floor. You start from standing. You hinge your hips back and you keep a slight bend in the knees. Pro tip, keep the bar close or touching contact with your thigh, knee, shin. Slide it down your leg without letting the bar drift out in front of you and away from you. This makes RDLs incredible for building strong hamstrings and glutes, improving balance, and mastering that clean hinge pattern without the stress of lifting a dead weight off of the ground. If you tend to feel tight hamstrings or low back fatigue, RDLs are a very safe, controlled way to build strength from top to bottom. And the payoff of deadlifting isn't in the gym just, it's outside in your life. Deadlifting helps you lift heavy things safely, protect your spine. Bone density keeps it there, improves your balance, builds your confidence, and helps you stay independent as you age. This is the essence of true functional strength, the kind that keeps your world big. So, should people avoid doing deadlifts after 50? No, unless they're doing the wrong variation with the wrong form at the wrong time. And those caveats that I mentioned earlier to watch out for. Deadlifts aren't something to fear. They're something to learn, to respect, and to use to keep your body strong for decades. If this helped at all, hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments, which deadlift variation are you working on right now? Which one do you want help with next? Is there something I talked about where you're saying, Janet, I get what you're saying, but I need more detail, more information? Let me know in the comments. You can see by now that I respond to them. I will see you next time. In the meantime, stay consistent, stay curious, and age with confidence.